Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranams to all the devotees. Thank you all very much for joining in for our TLC study session today. Hope everyone had a very wonderful Ekadashi yesterday, and I hope everyone did extra rounds, and I've also reported your rounds in the Ekadashi Sankalpa group, and we'll be reporting the extra rounds done for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. We'll be actually sharing it with our Siksha Gurus and our Diksha group like that. So hope you're all a part of the festival group. We've started the meditation on Jagannath Ashtakam as the next major upcoming festival is Shri Jagannath Rath Yatra on 7th of July. So again, thank you all for joining in. Let's start with the prayers. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganagunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parchana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Badhaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaur Dushe Namaha Panchadattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Gauranga Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Gauranga Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayade Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Mande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Pramanandamatam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tatsat Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Oh, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna. Dandavat pranams to all the devotees. Thank you all for joining in. Today we are continuing with chapter number 16 of Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So in this particular chapter, until now, we've seen that this is the conclusion of the teachings to Sanatana Goswami, right? Wherein different meanings of the word Atmaram is actually being explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. So, so here we see various meanings of this word, right? So we saw that the word in Bhagavad Gita also, we saw the word Atma actually refers to the body, sometimes the mind, sometimes, and sometimes the soul. But here we see that the word Atma, right? If I were to just do a control F, right? It is so many Atmas, Atma Ramas, right? Initially, we just started off with the description of Atma Ram. So who is an Atma Ram? We said that Atma Ram is one who is self-satisfied. So nobody else except the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be called Atmaram, right? And then we said, who else can be called as Atmaram? Is there nobody else who can be called Atmaram? And then we also said, the Atmaram also refers to the self-realized soul. Okay, for some reason, I'm not able to. Okay. So Atmaram also refers to those devotees who also engage in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they engage in the service for the exclusive pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because they are rendering service to the Supreme Lord, they are also completely in bliss. Because they are beyond, what is that called? Beyond lamentation and hankering. Brahmabhuta, prasannatma, na shochati, na kankshati, samasarveshu bhuteshu, mad bhakti labate param. Right? And then we also studied how Atmaram also refers to the gopis of Vrindavan. Right? Because they are the devotees who render the ultimate devotional service. And we also explained how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself wanted to understand the glory of Srimati Radharani's service. Right? How Srimati Radharani is deriving more pleasure than me because she is serving me. But she is deriving more pleasure than me. I am the served, but Radharani is deriving more pleasure than me. So the gopis headed by Srimati Radharani are the best amongst those who render devotional service. And the word Atma also refers to intelligence, right? One has to use one's intelligence in serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Atma also refers to mind, how one has to be determined, right? Thinking, feeling, and willing, we said, are the three functions of the mind. And one has to engage the mind in terms of one's thinking, one's feeling, and one's willing, and actually serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And such a person was referred to as Dhanyeyam Adhyadharani Trana Virodhastvat. Right? Such a person is very glorious, right? Because the person who's served is also glorious, and the person who's serving is also glorious. So on that note, let us quickly move on to the next meaning of Atmaram, Atma, that is given in this particular paragraph by Srila Prabhupada or by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sri Sanatana Goswami, where the word Atma also means this body, right? So I request devotees to raise your hands. I'll just start reading, and devotees who may want to read can also start. The word Atma also means this body. The yogis, okay, Rajneesh Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mata.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanat Pranam.
The word Atma also means this body. The yogis who practice the bodily exercises, considering the body to be the self, are also elevated to the transcendental of the Lord if they associate with devotees. There are many people who believe the body to be the self, and they are engaged in many puritative activities, including bathing, rituals, and ordinary worldly activities. But when they come in contact with a pure devotee, they also engage in the transcendental service of the Lord. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.18.12, it is stated, "O my dear Truth Goswami, we have become darkened by the sacrificial smoke of spiritive activities, but you have given us the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet." It is also stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 4.21.31, "The waters of the Ganges flow from tip of the lotus feet of Krishna, and by bathing in that water, everyone, including the spiritive actors and all sages, can wash dirty things from the mind." Even those who believe that the body is the self, or those who are full of material desires, are also in a sense Atma Rama when they associate with the pure devotees of the Lord. They give up their material desires, become perfect in service of the Lord. The best example of this is found in the Hari Bhakti Sudodhya 7.28, wherein Dhruv Maharaj said, Sutam Hila Sutapasi Sutiso.
स्थानाभिलाषि तपसि स्थितोऽहम् त्वां प्राप्तवान् देव मुनीन्द्र गुह्यम् काचम् विचिन्वन्नपि दिव्यरत्नम् स्वामी कृतार्थो अस्मि वरं न याचे. So this is a very famous verse. How the Dhruv Maharaj, he says, I was looking for broken pieces of glass, but what have I got? I got a diamond in terms of the darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
My dear Lord, I come to worship you because I desired some land on this earth, but fortunately I have attained you, who are beyond even the perception of great sages and saintly persons. I came to search out some particles of colored glass, but instead I found a very valuable gem like you. I am satisfied and I don't desire to ask. There is
Hare
another.
Krishna, Prabhu.
There is also another meaning.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, so here a very wonderful point, right? Dhruv Maharaj's example is always quoted, right? Akama sarva kamova moksha kam udharadi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Right? Whether we are full of desires or we don't have any material desires, we should not worship the demigods, right? Prabhupada very, very categorically tells in every lecture that whatever desires we have, we should have to approach only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Prabhupada always gives the example of Dhruv Maharaj. Right, Dhruv Maharaj wanted a kingdom greater than his grandfather, right? And he was told, and even he was not even allowed to sit on the lap of his own father, Uttanapad, right? So in this way, when Dhruv Maharaj went crying to his mother, right, his mother told that I've heard that Lord Narayan, he lives in the forest, right? You can find him in the forest. You simply go there and you pray to Lord Narayan. Then, then only, you can attain your desires, because I am not able to help you satisfy your desires. So in that way, the 5-year-old boy immediately took the words of his mother very seriously, right? To get instructed by one's mother like that also requires Sukriti, right? It is not that, the mothers will instruct like that. The mothers will just instruct, 5-year-old child, give some kilona, give some toy and change the, the boy's mind. That's what is mostly done. But then Dhruv Maharaj was rightly directed by his mother, and the 5-year-old boy immediately went to the forest, right, looking for Narayan. And Narada Muni, whenever he always appears, whenever a devotee wants to serve the Lord, or whenever a devotee is in confusion, right, especially devotees who are determined to develop their Krishna consciousness, whenever they are in confusion whether to do this or to do that, right, if we think of Narada Muni, immediately Narada Muni will guide us, right, because Narada Muni is eagerly waiting to clear the doubts and show the path to those devotees who want to attain Krishna, who want to attain Krishna Prema, who want to love and serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this case also Narada Muni came, but Narada Muni also tests, right? He tests Dhruv Maharaj. He just tells, you're a small boy, all these things will happen at home, right? Fights between brothers, sitting in the lap of the father, all that is very natural. It's okay. You're a small boy, go back home. But Dhruv Maharaj is very, very firmly situated. No, I want to meet Lord Narayan and I want to get a piece of land which is greater than my forefather, which is greater than Brahma Loka. I want a Loka which is greater than Brahma Loka, right? And then he follows, right? It's not just having the desire, but it also means to go that step and perform what is told by our spiritual master, right? We have not been told to stand on one leg and to fast even from water, and then there is this. The fire, the heat in the body also springs up because there is nothing that we are putting into the body. All those things we are not told, right? What are we told? Simply follow the 4 regulative principles, chant minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and that too Prabhupada says in many times. Why just 16 rounds, right? So Prabhupada says even on normal days you chant 20 rounds, right? Because more than we were discussing it in the Brahma Murta program, right? More than from the starting with the 17th round, we were actually expressing our sincerity, because until 16 rounds is, my duty to do. I mean, anyway, I'm duty bound to do that, right? Yesterday in Ekadashi, I saw one devotee chanted 128 rounds, right? One devotee had chanted 108 rounds. So, some devotees have chanted 64 rounds. So, very, very inspiring to see. And then we also want to improve in our devotional service, right? We are not envious of those who are doing wonderful devotional service, but we are drawing inspiration from them so that we can also chant more rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? By seeing these devotees. These devotees are like us. They also have 24 hours, right? But they are determined to do 108 rounds, 128 rounds, right? Which means they are as determined as Dhruv Maharaj, right? So Dhruv Maharaj followed the instructions of Narada Muni, and in this way, when he had darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was like, he was regretting, right? Oh my God, I got this diamond of this darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but what I actually wanted, what did I actually desire when I worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead? I simply desired a kingdom which was greater than, Brahma, right? So that is what I desired. But since I worshipped the Lord Narayan, right? That is the glory of approaching Lord Narayan, right? Akam sarva kamo va moksha kam udharadi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param, right? So in this way it is said that even if we have a lot of material desires, if we simply worship Lord Narayan, then we will get purified like Dhruv Maharaj. But if we worship Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma or any other demigod, then we will get entangled like Hiranyakashipu, like Ravana, right? In that way, our desires will not get purified. But if we worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then automatically our desires will get purified. What did he say? I do not desire to ask anything of you, right? So a devotee who is able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead is an Atmaram. Then there is no other desire to be fulfilled, right? When one takes darshan of the Supreme Lord, right? In Ishopanishad it says, right? Shuddham apapa viddham. That means in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or even in association with the pure devotees of the Lord, one's heart becomes so purified that one has no desire other than to serve the Supreme Lord, right? I don't desire anything to ask of you. So this is another meaning of the word Atmaram. Atmaram means one who is self-satisfied. Why? Because one is satisfied by either having darshan of the Lord or by doing service to the Lord. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was explaining that the best example of a person who, although had material desires, but who became an Atmaram. Why? Because he was determined and worshipping the Supreme Lord and following the instructions of the spiritual master. And in this way, he became an Atmaram, although he started off with material desires. Right? So now let's again move on to another meaning of the word Atma. Right? Let's go ahead. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, I can see Deval Mataji's hand up. Yeah. Okay, Deval Mataji, go ahead. There is also another meaning to the word. Go ahead. Nirgranta. Are you able to unmute yourself, Mataji? Okay, Sudha Mataji, are you there?
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Mataji. There is also another meaning to the word Nirgrantha. The word can also mean foolish hunter or wretched poor man. There is an instance of such a hunter who attained salvation and engaged himself in the devotional service of the Lord simply by associating with pure devotee, Narada. Indeed, Lord Chaitanya told Sanatana Goswami the following story of the hunters meeting with Narada. Once there was a hunter in the forest of Prayaga who was fortunate enough to meet Narad Muni when the great sage was returning from Vaikuntha after visiting Lord Narayan. Narada came to Prayaga to bathe in the confluence of the Ganges and Yamuna. While passing through the forest, Narada saw a bird lying on the ground. The bird was half killed, having been pierced by an arrow, and it was chirping piteously. Further on, Narada saw a deer flopping about in agony. Further, he saw that a boar was also suffering, and in another place, he saw a rabbit twitching in pain. All this made him feel very compassionate, and he began to think, who is this foolish man who has committed such sins? In general, devotees of the Lord are compassionate towards the suffering living entities. And so, what to speak of the great sage Narada? He became very much aggrieved by the scene. And after proceeding a few steps, he saw the hunter engage in hunting with bow and arrows. The hunter's complexion was very black, and his eyes were red. It appeared to be dangerous just to see him standing there with his bow and arrows, looking just like an associate of Yamraja. Death Yamraja death. Seeing him, Narada Muni entered deeper into the forest to approach him. As Narada Muni passed through the forest, all the animals who were caught in the hunter's traps fled away. The hunter became very angry at this, and he was just about to call Narada wild names. But due to the influence of saintly Narada, the hunter could not utter such blasphemies. Rather, with gentle behavior, he asked Narada, "My dear sir, why have you come here while I'm hunting? Have you strayed from the general path? Because you have come here, all the animals in my traps have fled." "Yes, I'm sorry," Narada replied. "I have come to you to find my own path and to inquire from you. While on the path, I have seen that there are many boars, deers, and rabbits lying on the forest floor, half dead and flopping about. Who has committed these sinful acts? What you have seen is all right." The hunter replied, It was done by me." "If you are hunting all these poor animals, why don't you kill them at once?" Narada asked. "You half kill them and then they are writhing in pain in their death pangs. This is a great sin. If you want to kill an animal, why don't you kill it completely? Why do you leave it half killed and allow it to die flopping around?" "My dear lord," the hunter replied, "my name is Brigari, enemy of the animals. I am simply following the teachings of my father, who taught me to half kill animals and leave them flopping about. When a half dead animal suffers, I take great pleasure in it. I beg only one thing from you," Narada implored. "Please accept it." "Oh, yes, sir, I shall give you whatever you like," the hunter said. "If you want some animal skins, come to my house. I have many skins of animals, including tigers and deer. I shall give you whatever you like." "I do not want such things," Narada replied, "but I do want something else. Since you kindly agree to grant it to me, I shall tell you. Please, henceforth from tomorrow, whenever you kill an animal, please kill it completely. Don't leave it half dead." "My dear sir, what are you asking for me? What is the difference between half killing an animal and killing it completely?" "If you half kill the animals, they suffer great pain," Narada explained. "And if you give too much pain to other living entities, you commit great sin. There is a great offense committed when you kill an animal completely, but the offense is much greater when you half kill it. Indeed, the pain which you give half dead animals will have to be accepted by you in a future birth." Although the hunter was very sinful, his heart became softened, and he became afraid of his sins by virtue of his association with a great devotee like Narada. Those who are grossly sinful are not at all afraid of committing sins. But here we can see that because his purification began in the association of a great devotee like Narada, the hunter became afraid of his sinful activities. The hunter therefore replied, "My dear sir, from my very childhood, I have been taught to kill animals in this way. Please tell me, how can I counteract all the offenses and sinful activities I have committed? I am surrendering unto your lotus feet. Please save me from all the reactions to the sinful activities I have committed in the past, and please direct me to the proper path so that I can be free. If you actually want to follow my directions, I can tell you the real path by which you can be freed from these sinful reactions. I shall follow whatever you say without hesitation." The hunter agreed. Narada then followed him to first break his bow. Only then would Narada disclose the path of liberation. "You are asking me to break my bow?" the hunter protested. "But if I break it, what will be the means of my livelihood?" "Don't worry about your livelihood," Narada said. "I shall send you sufficient grains so you can live." The hunter then broke his bow and fell down at the feet of Narada. Narada got him to stand up, and he instructed him, "Just go to your home and distribute whatever money and valuables you have to the devotees and the brahmanas. Then come out and follow me wearing only one cloth. Construct a small thatched home on the river bank and sow a tulsi plant by that house. Just circumambulate the tulsi tree, and every day taste one fallen leaf. Above all, always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. As far as your livelihood is concerned, I shall send you the grains you need, but you must accept only as much grain as you require for yourself and your wife." Narada then revived the half-dead animals, and getting freed from their dreadful condition, they fled away. Upon seeing Narada execute this miracle, the black hunter was struck with wonder. After taking Narada to his home, he bowed down again at his feet. Narada returned to his place, and the hunter, after returning home, began to execute the instructions Narada had given him. In the meantime, news spread among all the villages that a hunter had become a devotee. Consequently, the residents of the villages came to see the new Vaishnava. It is a Vedic custom to bring grains or fruits whenever one goes to see a saintly person. And since all the villagers saw that the hunter had turned into a great devotee, they brought eatables with them. Thus, every day he was offered grains and fruits, so much so that no less than 10 to 20 people could have eaten there. But following Narada's instruction, he did not accept more than what he and his wife required to live on. After some days had passed, Narada told Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Danut Pranam. Very wonderful story, isn't it? You all know the story of Mrigari the hunter, right? How transformation is caused by sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, sarva sastra kaya. Lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoya. Sarva siddhi, all of the siddhis, right? Whatever we consider as siddhi, right? If we consider wealth as our siddhi, then we have to associate with, like Prabhupada says, right? If you associate with the drunkards, then you become a drunkard. If you associate with Hare Krishnas, you become a Hare Krishna, right? So similarly, whatever we want to do accordingly, like Prabhupada gives example of a Chartered Accountants Association, right? Whenever you want to excel in your career as a Chartered Accountant, then you have a Chartered Accountants Association, then you have a Doctors Association, right? So similarly, when we want to advance in devotional service, then whom do we need to associate with? We need to associate with a sadhu. And who better than Narada Muni himself, right? It's not that Narada Muni comes, only in the pages of Bhagavatam, right? It depends on the sincerity of the devotee. If a devotee or any person wants to approach the Supreme Lord, and in some cases it is clearly kripa, right? Sometimes, but we cannot wait for such kripa to come and fall over us. Until then, we commit sinful activities. We wait for the time. Like Narada Muni came to Mrigari, I will also wait for the time when somebody comes and instructs me, right? So these are instances to tell us that however sinful we may have been, right? Mrigari was actually enjoying the half-killed, seeing the suffering of the animals he was enjoying. So even such a person can be elevated by the association of Narada Muni, by the association of the pure devotee of the Lord. So it only builds hope in our heart, right? We are not so bad, right? We do some things for our sense gratification, but we don't at least cause pain to others. And we don't simply enjoy the pain that others are undergoing, right? We don't have that much of a fallen behavior, right? Or that much of a fallen consciousness. So how much easier it is for us to practice devotional service. What we need to do, we need to do exactly what Mrigari did, right? So Narada Muni told that I will come in, I will ensure that sufficient amount of grains and fruits are given to you. Krishna has given us this promise. Yogakshemam vahamyaham. Right? Krishna gives us everything. There is nothing that we brought when we came, right? We came in this world crying and without anything, and we will leave this world also without anything. Whatever we have obtained throughout our life, right, or in our previous bodies, or whatever species we've been undergoing for the last so many janmas because of our desires, right? Every time we have been nourished by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Krishna accompanies us as a super soul, whether we are in a human body or we are in a pig's body or we are in a pigeon's body or we are in a rat's body, doesn't matter. Krishna is accompanying us in the form of super soul. That means the mercy of Lord Krishna is always there, right? Prabhupada tells in a lecture, the elephant, the elephant eats so much. It needs so much to maintain its body because the elephant is so bulky and it's so strong. But the elephant does not work hard to get something to eat, right? There is this huge forest where the elephant's habitation is there, and the elephant goes and finds as much as it wants to eat. Right? Here also very important. Mrigari the hunter was told by Narada Muni, accept only what is required for you and your wife. Right? Prabhupada tells in one lecture, very beautiful. Right? If there is if there is a sack of grains in the forest, right? So it is open and lying down like that, open. So what happens? The bird comes, right? Few birds come, they peck few grains, and then they go away. Right? But when a human being comes, what does he do? He takes some grains and then, he picks up the entire sack and he goes away home. Right? Not just for me now, but what about tomorrow? What about the after tomorrow? What about my family? Right? If God is giving us something, will he not, if God has maintained us for so long, will he not give us enough food to eat? Right? The God gives the food to even the animals to eat. Right? So in this way, we need to develop human consciousness first and foremost. And Prabhupada in that lecture also says, we have a consciousness which is even worse than animals and birds. Right? They also take only as much as they require. But man is so greedy. Right? He wants to accumulate and take everything, as if, we will take everything with us when we are leaving this body. Right? So that is why here also he gives a very important instruction to Mrigari that accept only what you want. Right? Whenever we want something more than what we need, then it becomes lust. Kama, Esha, Krodha, Esha, Rajoguna, Samudbhava. Then it goes on to lust, anger, greed, which are the three gates to hell. Right? Krishna tells very emphatically that the three gates to hell are lust, anger, and greed. So now we see the three important things that Mrigari did, because of which there was a transformation of his heart. One, He listened to the words of Narada Muni. Second, he also regretted. Oh, I didn't know. I was being taught like this to half kill animals by my father or whoever, by my by my seniors or whatever, forefathers, right? So I've been doing this. Thirdly, he accepted the instruction of Narada Muni and he followed it to the T, right? So in this way, what happened? What happened to a person who was enjoying the suffering of other animals and was half killing them? And he was enjoying that. What happened to him? That transformation is what we're going to see now in the next paragraph. I'll request Sudha Mataji to read it. Let me share my screen. Okay, Sudha Mataji, go ahead. After some days had passed.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam, yes.
When the two say, Mataji, from after some days, na?
Yeah.
Yeah. After some days had passed, Narada told his friend Parvata Muni, I have a disciple. Let us go to visit him and see if he is doing well. When the two sages, Narada and Parvata, went to the hunter's home, the hunter saw his spiritual master coming from a distance and began to approach him with great respect. On his way to greet the great sages, the hunter saw that there were ants on the ground before him and they were hindering his passage. When he reached the sages, he wanted to bow down before them, but before he did so, he carefully cleared away the ants with his cloth. When Narada saw that the hunter was trying to save the lives of the ants in this way, he was reminded of a verse from the Skanda Purana. Is it not wonderful that a devotee of the Lord is not inclined to give any sort of pain to anyone, not even an ant? Although formerly the hunter had taken great pleasure in half killing animals, since he had become a great devotee of the Lord, he was not prepared to give pain even to an ant. The hunter received the great sages at his home and offered them a sitting place, brought water, and washed their feet. Then the hunter and his wife took some of the water and drank it, and finally they both sprinkled the water on their heads. After this, they felt ecstasy and began to dance while singing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. They raised their hands and danced with their clothes flying. When the two great sages saw this ecstasy of love of Godhead manifest in the body of the hunter, Parvata Muni told Narada, you are a touchstone, for by your association, even a great hunter has turned into a great devotee. There is a verse in the Skanda Purana which states, my dear Devarshi Narada, you are glorious, and by your mercy, even the lowest creature, a hunter of animals, also became elevated to the path of devotion and attained transcendental attachment for Krishna. At length, Narada inquired of the hunter devotee, are you getting your foodstuffs regularly? You send so many people, the hunter replied, and they bring so much food that we cannot eat it all. That's all right, Narada replied. Whatever you're getting is all right. Now just continue your devotional service in that way. After Narada had spoken this, both he and Parvata Muni disappeared from the hunter's home. Lord Chaitanya recited this story to show that even a hunter can be engaged in the devotional service of Krishna by the influence of pure devotees. Continuing to explain the Atmarama verse, Lord Chaitanya pointed out that the word Atma also indicates all varieties of the personality of Godhead. Generally, the personality of Godhead himself, Krishna, and his different expansions are all known as the personality of Godhead. Anyone who is engaged in the devotional service of any form or expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is called Atmarama. All such devotees engage either in the regulative principles of devotional service or in devotional service in transcendental love. These two groups of devotees are each divided into three categories: eternal associates, those perfected in devotional service, and those newly engaged in devotional service. Newly engaged devotees can be divided into two groups: those who have already attained attachment for the Lord and those who have not attained such attachment. When considered according to the two divisions of devotional service, namely due to attachment in transcendental love and under regulation, these classes of devotees become 8 in number. By following the regulative principles of devotion, the perfect associates of the Lord are further divided into 4 classes: the servants, the friends, the parental superiors, and the fiancés.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is the transformation that is caused due to the association of a pure devotee of the Lord. And we are not going to wait for pure devotee, right? We are not going to judge. Is this person a pure devotee? Is this person not a pure devotee? Right? When somebody asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during the Rath Yatra in Jagannath Puri, every year the devotees will ask Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is a Vaishnava? Sometimes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will say, anyone who has even uttered the name of Krishna even once is a Vaishnava. Sometimes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will say, anyone who makes you chant Hare Krishna is a Vaishnava. Right? So we don't know. We are not qualified enough to know who is a Vaishnava and who is not a Vaishnava. So the safest way is to offer respect to all the Vaishnavas and take association from those Vaishnavas who help us advance in devotional service, who enable us to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra more and more, who enable us to hear Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita more and more, who help us develop more faith in chanting Hare Krishna. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives the example of Mrigari the hunter to tell us the importance of association of devotees, especially association of pure devotees of the Lord, who help us transform our lives, right? From either sinful activities or from selfish activities to performing activities for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. And again, the next explanation of Atmaram. Here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually explaining the two kinds of devotional service that we do, which is sadhana bhakti, three kinds actually. Sadhana bhakti, which is either Vaidhi sadhana bhakti or Raganuga sadhana bhakti. That means we've already attained loving reciprocation with the Lord, but at the same time, we still follow rules and regulations because we've not yet perfected our life. Raganuga sadhana bhakti. But at least there is spontaneity in us rendering devotional service. And then the other is Ragatmika bhaktas. Ragatmika bhaktas are eternally, they are Nitya Siddhas. They are eternally the associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? Whereas in the Vaidhi sadhana bhakti are newly engaged in devotional service, whereas the sadhana bhaktas who are in the Raganuga stage, they have perfected their life. That means they started off by practicing sadhana bhakti, but by practice of devotional service, by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, they have reawakened their love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? Those devotees are perfected Raganuga Bhaktas. That means they followed the instructions of their Guru and they perfected their lives and they reawakened their love for Krishna. Right? So those are Raganuga Bhaktas. And then Ragatmika Bhaktas, they never fall down. Ragatmika Bhaktas, they come with the Lord. Right? They also descend with the Lord to support the Lord in his pastimes. They are Ragatmika Bhaktas. So these are the three categories of devotees. And again, they become 3 into 4, right? Where they have the rasa of either being Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya or Madhurya, right? These are the active relationships where there is predominantly a service, right? In Shantarasa, there is not much of service, right? Although Shantarasa also, like they are the ornaments of the Lord, and even they are persons in the spiritual world because they are also rendering service to the Supreme Lord. And it said that Balaram actually expands as the various paraphernalia of the Lord, which are mostly in the Shantarasa, serving the Lord in Shantarasa. But the Jivas generally, where predominantly there is service, either in the Dasya Rasa or in the Sakya Rasa or in the Vatsalya Rasa or in the Madhurya Rasa, they perfect their devotional service. So in that way, it becomes 3 into 4, right? Eternal associates, Nitya, Siddhas, those perfected in devotional service, Raganuga Bhaktas, and those newly engaged in devotional service. That means Vaidhi Sadhana Bhaktas, who will become pure devotees, right? So in this way, it becomes 3 into 4, that is 12, like that. Okay, let's move ahead. Let's try to complete this chapter today. Okay, where are we? Yeah. Just as some devotees. Okay, Sindhu Mataji, go ahead. And then we have Leela Nandini Mataji, and then Happy Manasi Mataji. Very nice. And if you follow Ekadashi very nicely, we can become happy. Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes, go ahead.
Pranams, Mataji.
Pranams.
Haribhutila Prabhupada ki jai. Just as some devotees are perfected by the execution of devotional service, so some are eternally perfect. Of those following the regulative principles of devotional service, there are the advanced and the beginners, totaling 16 categories. And in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, there are also 16 types of devotees. Thus, the Atmaramas can be considered to exist in 32 divisions. If the words Muni, Nirgrantha, Cha and Api are applied to the 32 classes, then there are 58 different types of devotees. All these devotees can be described by one word, Atmarama. There may be many different kinds of trees standing in the forest, but the word tree describes them all. Thus, the Lord gave 60 different meanings to the Atmarama verse. In addition, he said that Atma means any embodied living entity. From the first living creature, Brahma, down to the ant. He cited a verse from the 6th chapter of the Vishnu Purana, in which it is stated that all the energies of the Lord are spiritual. Although this is the case, the energy which is known as the source of living entity is called spiritual, but the other energy which is full of ignorance and is manifested in material activities is called material nature. Even in the material creation, the living entities are innumerable. If by chance a living entity in the material world can associate with a pure devotee, he can engage in the pure devotional service of Krishna. Formerly, I thought of 60 different meanings for the Atmarama verse. The Lord told Sanatana Goswami, but here another meaning has come to my mind by your association. After hearing the different explanations of the Atmarama verse, Sanatana Goswami was struck with wonder and he fell down in devotion at the feet of Lord Chaitanya. I understand that you are personally the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Sanatana said, and by your breathing have come many manifestations of Vedic literatures. You are the teacher of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and you best know the meanings of the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not possible for others to understand the confidential meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam without your mercy.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he did this very, the most important verse, right? Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayas Dadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajavadu Varge Navakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam Prema Pumarto Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatra Dharana Para. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's opinion, right? Like we say in Bhagavad Gita, right? We are not interested in anybody else's opinion except Krishna's opinion. Right? What does Krishna say? Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam praja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishami marshuchaha. Right? In this way, Lord Krishna says, surrender everything, right? Surrender everything and engage in devotional service and ma shuchaha, I will protect you, right? So in this way, what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayas, right? Aradhya Bhagavan is only one, right? We are not worshipping so many demigods, we are not worshipping even the Vishnu tattvas of the Lord, right? Why we are not worshipping the, right? There may be some who may be attached to the Aishwarya forms of the Lord, like Narayan, Vishnu, etc., right? But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, what is the topmost worship? Topmost worship is worship of Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayas, not even Dwaraka Krishna, not even Krishna in Mathura, right? In one of the lectures of Prabhupada is saying, if you cannot understand Radha Krishna, if you don't want to understand Vrindavan Krishna, at least understand Kurukshetra Krishna. At least try to understand Bhagavad Gita. At least try to understand you are not this body, you are the spirit soul. Try to understand Kurukshetra Krishna. Like that, there is the different levels of understanding Krishna also. Right? There is understanding of Krishna as per his instructions in the Kurukshetra. Right? There is understanding of Krishna according to Krishna's various pastimes in Dwaraka, according to Krishna's pastimes in Mathura, according to Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. But what is the best form of worship? Aradhya Bhagavan Vraja Isha Tanaya. Vraja Isha is who? Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj is the king of Vrindavan. Right? And who is his son? Vraja Isha Tanaya. Tanaya means son. And the son of Nanda Maharaj is Krishna. Who is Vrindavan? Krishna. So that is the supreme form of worship. And whose opinion is this? This is not anybody's opinion. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Lord Sri Krishna, who is in the mood of his pure devotee Srimati Radharani. His opinion. Right? Aradhya Bhagavan, Vrajesha Tanayas, Tad Dhama Vrindavanam. Right? So what is his abode? It is Vrindavan. It is neither Dwaraka, it is neither Mathura, it is neither any other place. Right? Tad Dhama Vrindavanam. Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadu. And what is the best way of worshipping the Supreme Lord? The best way of worshipping this Vraja, Isha, Tanaya, Krishna, Vrindavan Krishna is by following in the footsteps of the gopis of Vrindavan. Vrajavadu. Vrajavadu refers to the gopis of Vrindavan. Right? Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajisha Tanayas Taddama Vrindavanam. Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadu Vargenava Kalpita. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. Right? What is the best scripture? Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. Amala Puran is Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is what is there in Kali Yuga when Krishna has actually gone back to the spiritual world, right? There is a beautiful verse which is also there that when Lord Krishna went back to the spiritual world with all of the dharma and all the religious practices. What is there in Kali Yuga, right? So Krishna is now incarnated in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam, and study of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, is the most important method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by hearing and glorifying the pastimes of Lord Vrindavan Krishna occurring in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing it from a pure devotee, right? Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumarto Mahan. Simply by studying Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam from a bona fide devotee, what will happen? Prema, the dormant love for the Lord which is there in our heart will awaken. Prema Pumarto Mahan. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam. This is opinion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tatra Dharanapara. I don't see anything else that is more important than these three things. What are those? Aradhya Bhagavan, Brajesha Tanayas. Worshipable Lord is only Vrindavan Krishna. And what is the best form of worship? Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadu, following in the footsteps of the gopis of Vrindavan. And Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Avalam, study and hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam from pure devotees of the Lord. If you perform these three things, then automatically with the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, we'll be able to attain pure devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We can become Atmaram by this way, right? So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing here. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, this technical number and all, it is, see, what we need to understand here is, maybe at least I don't have the intelligence to understand, to actually map up to these numbers. But what we can understand is, we can become Atmaram simply by following in the instructions of our gurus, coming in the illustrious Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Vaishnava, Guru Parampara. Right? Even if though we don't understand anything, I always think of this. When some complex subject matter, when I cannot understand, I always think of this pastime where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sees this Brahmana when he goes to the South India Yatra. He sees this Brahmana who's sitting with an upside Bhagavad Gita and crying, right? And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquires, why are you crying? He says that, first and foremost, he asks, why are you crying? No, first and foremost, he asks, why are you having the book upside down? And he says, I don't know to read the Bhagavad Gita, but my Guru has instructed me, so I am trying to read the Bhagavad Gita. I'm holding the Bhagavad Gita and trying to read it. And then he says, you can't read the Bhagavad Gita, why are you crying? And then he says that when I see Lord Krishna, who's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's become the servant of his own devotee Arjuna. Tears fall down from my eyes. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you've understood the real purport of the Bhagavad Gita. So in this way, by the mercy, Swayam eva suratyadaha, Ata Shri Krishna namadi nabhave grahim indriyahi. By our endeavor, there is only so much we can do. And our endeavor only expresses our sincerity to the Lord, our determination to the Lord, Utsahat, Nisyad and Dhairyat, to the Lord and his devotees. And when the Lord and the devotees are happy with our endeavor, then they will bless us. And by their blessings, we can understand Krishna. By their blessings, we can understand the Krishna Tattva and Krishna Siddhanta and Krishna Seva, right? So these three S's, what are those? Siddhanta, Seva and Sadachar, right? These three S's are very important. Siddhanta means Tattva, understanding Krishna's Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Sadachar is proper behavior, respecting all the Vaishnavas, not indulging in gossip, not indulging in blasphemy of Vaishnavas or anybody for that reason. And third is, Seva, right? The attitude to render devotional service to the Lord as well as those devotees, especially those devotees who bring in the faith in our heart to render devotional service, right? They are our Siksha Gurus and our Diksha Guru. So every opportunity that we get to serve them, we should serve them so nicely that they bless us, that we can advance in devotional service. And that is the only stamped or the formal way, or what is the authorized way, as we can call it. The authorized way to advance in Krishna consciousness is only by the blessings of our Siksha Gurus, the Diksha Guru, as well as all the Vaishnavas, whom we are getting an opportunity to associate with, whom we are getting an opportunity to serve, to whom we have the opportunity to associate with in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, let's move forward. It's already, I think, what's the time? 1:43. Okay, let's try and complete this. Leelandri Mataji, go ahead. Do not try to eulogize me in that way from there. Hare Krishna. Yes,
Krishna Mataji. Do not try to eulogize mean that way.
Yeah.
The Lord Krishna told Sanatana, just try to understand the real nature of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the sound representation of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. As Krishna is unlimited, so each word and each syllable of Srimad Bhagavatam has unlimited meanings. One can understand these meanings through the association of devotees. Don't then say that Bhagavatam is simply a collection of answers to questions. There were 6 questions put up by the sages of Naimisharanya to Sudha Goswami, and Sudha Goswami answered the 6 questions in Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a verse in the Vedic literature in which Lord Shiva says, as far as the questions in Srimad Bhagavatam, as far as the Bhagavatam is concerned, I may know it, or Sukadeva Goswami or Vyasadeva may know it, or we may not know it. But actually, Bhagavatam is to be understood by devotional service and from a devotee, and not by one's own intelligence or by academic commentaries. At the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.23, the sages of Naimisharanya asked Sudha Goswami, Bruhi Yogeshware Krishna, Brahmanya Dharma Varmani, Swam Kashtam Adunavadev Dharma Akam Saranam Gadaha. My dear sir, now that the Lord has departed for his own abode, kindly tell us whether the principles of religion have gone with him. How can we find such principles after departure? The reply was given in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.43. Krishna is Swadharmo Bhagate Dharma Jnanadi Visaha Darsham
And
is.
Krishna went back to his Dhama. Dhamo
What, Mataji?
Krishna is Dhamo Pagate, not Dharma.
Krishna
Dhamo, when he went back to his abode.
Krishna is Dhama Bhagade Dharma Jnana Divisaha Kalo Nasta Drisham Isa Purnarko Dunodira. After Krishna departed to his abode, with all religious principles, his representation, Srimad Bhagavatam, the Mahapurana, remains as the blazing, illuminating sun. Lord Chaitanya. Thank you.
Thank you.
Haribol.
Yeah, so this was the verse actually I was looking for. You know, I thought at the end of the session I will Google and find out this verse. This is the verse which tells that when Krishna left for the spiritual world, Krishna is Vadhamo Pagate. And what did he do? He took away all dharma, jnana, divisaha. Right? All of the religious principles, his representation, everything has been taken away. And Krishna went back to Goloka Vrindavan Dham. So what is going to give the light in the age of Kali? Kalau nashta drishamesha. Purana arko dunoditaha. Purana arko dunoditaha. Adunoditaha means the sun, right? When Krishna went back to the spiritual world, it became complete darkness because there is no knowledge what to do, what not to do. There is no religion, there is no dharma. Everything has been taken away. So what is giving light in this age of Kali is Srimad Bhagavatam. That is why Srimad Bhagavatam is said to be non-different from Lord Krishna himself. When Krishna went back to the spiritual world, that time he left Srimad Bhagavatam for us to follow in the principles of devotional service, to understand what is devotional service and attain success in this path of devotional service. Okay, let's continue. Let me quickly share my screen. What is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu telling Sanatana Goswami ahead? Okay, happy Manasi Mataji, go ahead. And then Anusha Mataji can read and then we'll end our session. Yes, go ahead. Lord Chaitanya then told Sanatana Goswami.
Lord Chaitanya then told Sanatana Goswami, I was just like a madman in describing this Atmarama verse in so many ways. Do not mind if I have said something mad, but if someone becomes a madman like me, he can understand the real meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam as I have explained it. Then Sanatana Goswami with folded hands fell at the feet of Lord Chaitanya and prayed. My dear Lord, he said, you have asked me to prepare the regulating principles of devotional service, but I belong to the lowest caste. I have no knowledge. I do not know how such an important task can be finished by me. If you will give me some hints about the preparation of such a book on devotional service, it may be that I shall be qualified to write. The Lord then blessed him, saying, whatever you write by the grace of Krishna will come out of your heart and will be accepted as you have requested. I will also give you some hints that you can take down. The first and foremost point is that one should accept a bona fide spiritual master. That is the beginning of spiritual life. Lord Chaitanya then requested Sanatana Goswami to write down the symptoms of a true guru and the symptoms of a true devotee. The symptoms of a devotee are described in the Padma Purana. A person who is qualified Brahmana and at the same time has all the symptoms of a devotee can become a spiritual master for all classes of men. Such a devotee and a spiritual master must be respected as God Himself. Even though a person may be born in a very respectable Brahmana family, he cannot become a bona fide spiritual master if he is not a devotee of the Lord. One should not mistakenly think that a bona fide spiritual master has to be born in a so-called Brahmana family. The idea is that a spiritual master must be a qualified Brahmana, that is, he must be qualified by his activities. That is confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam when Narada of his different symptoms characterizing the four divisions of social life. Narada therein summarizes that Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras should be selected by their individual qualifications. In his commentary, Sridhar Swami has noted that birth in a family of Brahmanas does not necessarily mean that one is a Brahmana. One must be qualified with the symptoms of a Brahmana as the symptoms are described in the Shastras. In the disciplic succession of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, there are two great acharyas, Thakur Narottam and Shyamananda Goswami, who were both in Brahmana families but were accepted as spiritual masters by many Brahmanas of fame, including Ganga Narayan, Ramakrishna, etc. In this way, there are symptoms which the prospective devotees evinces, and both the disciple and the spiritual master must see whether each other is eligible to become either a bona fide spiritual master or a bona fide student. One should then know that the only worshipable object is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one should learn the various mantras and sacred songs. The Lord then instructed Sanatan to describe the symptoms of these persons who are eligible to accept the mantras and to describe how the mantras should be understood and perfected by ritualistic performances. Then the Lord described initiation, morning duties, and duties of cleanliness, washing the face and brushing the teeth, the process of work, and the prayers to be recited both in the morning and the evening. The Lord also described how one should worship the spiritual master and mark one's body with Gopal Chandan. He also described how one should collect the tulsi leaves and wash the room and temple of the Lord. And he also described how one must awaken Krishna from his sleep. Lord Chaitanya also described different methods for worshipping the Lord, which are the methods of the five-fold paraphernalia and 50-fold paraphernalia. He described how one should worship the Lord by offering him arati 5 times a day, and he described how one should offer food to Krishna and lay him down on the bed. Lord Chaitanya also spoke of the effect of going to holy places where there are different temples of the Lord and seeing the form of God in the temple. He also spoke of the glorification of the transcendental name of the Lord and the different offenses which one can commit while worshipping. In the worship of the Lord, certain paraphernalia is used, such as conch shell, water, fragrant flowers, prayers, and hymns. And there is circumambulation of the offering of obeisances as well. One should follow the regulative principles of Purasharana and accept Krishna Prasad, rejecting foodstuff which is not offered to Krishna. Lord Chaitanya also cautioned that one should not indulge in defaming a devotee who has the actual symptoms of a devotee. Lord
Hare
Chaitanya
Krishna.
also.
Hare Krishna. Right. So it's all covered in the 64 Angas of devotional service given by Rupa Goswami. Right. Top 5 are Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan, Bhagavata Shravan, and Bhagavata Shravan and Sri Murtaya Shraddhaya Sevana. Right. When we do all these 5 things, which are also covered in the ABCD square formula given by Prabhupada. Prabhupada has simplified it so much very nicely for us. And we were discussing the other day also. Right. If you attend the morning program in ISKCON temple on at least on a Sunday, then from morning 4 o'clock till 9 o'clock, as when the Bhagavatam class ends and you honor Krishna Prasadam, all of these activities which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told to Sanatana Goswami and asked him to write. Sanatana Goswami wrote all of this in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Hari Bhakti Vilas was written by Sanatana Goswami, which gives in detail what is the procedure to worship the Lord, how to perform arati to the Lord, right? And of course, we know Rupa Goswami has written the entire nectar of instruction that he received from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the form of nectar devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Upadeshamrita. So in all of these books, the 64 Angas of Bhakti is given in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And all of these, right, worshipping the deity form of the Lord, offering incense, fragrant flowers, offering Aarti 5 times a day, all of these are actually followed in every ISKCON temple, right? So in this way, Prabhupada has made it very easy for us. If we simply go to an ISKCON temple on a Sunday morning, we will do all of these Angas of Bhakti. That is the advantage of going to ISKCON temple as instituted by Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so Anusha Mataji, go ahead. We'll complete this chapter now in about 7 minutes. We'll end the session at 2 o'clock. Yes, go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Then Lord Chaitanya also instructed Sanatana to describe the symptoms of a holy man, the process of satisfying the sages, and the value of rejecting the society of undesirable persons, and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam constantly. Also to be described how to follow the daily, fortnightly, and monthly duties, how to observe fasting on the Ekadashi day, how to observe ceremonies like the birthday of the Lord, and how to observe fasting not only on Ekadashi but also on Janmashtami, Vamana Dwadashi, Ramanavami, and Narasimha Chaturdashi. Lord Chaitanya also instructed Sanatana to explain that it is helpful in the advancement of devotional service to avoid fast days that overlap with other days, Vidya. Also to be explained where how to establish temples of the Lord along with the general behavior, symptoms, duties, and occupation of a Vaishnava. And at every step, Lord Chaitanya said, Sanatana Goswami should give documentary evidence from the Puranas. Thus, the Lord gave a summary of all the topics Sanatana should include in his book on Vaishnava regulative principles. Can I go ahead, Mataji?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sanatana Goswami was a great devotee of the Lord, and he was directly instructed to spread the cult of bhakti by writing many books. There is a description of Sanatana in the Chaitanya Chandrodaya, where it is said that Sanatana Goswami was one of the most important personalities in the government of Nawab Hussain Shah. Sanatana's brother Rupa Goswami was also a minister in the government, but both of them gave up their lucrative government posts to become mendicants and serve the Supreme Lord. Externally, the brothers became just like ordinary mendicants, but their hearts were filled with transcendental loving service and great love for the cowherd boy of Vrindavana. Indeed, Sanatana Goswami was dear to all pure devotees of his time. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So they were Dabir Khas and what is that? Sakara Malik. Right? They were actually employed in the service of Nawab and they gave up everything. We also read in the beginning parts of the teaching to Lord Chaitanya how Sanatana Goswami, how Rupa Goswami came first and Sanatana Goswami came much later. He was in the prison. He actually bribed the jailkeeper and then he came and met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this was the summary of all the instructions given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. And we are all called Rupa Anugas, right? Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. We say that we offer respectful obeisances unto Rupa Goswami because he understood the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he manifested whatever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to see in this world. He manifested in this world, right? That's why we call Rupa Anugas. And such Rupa Goswami also considered Sanatana Goswami, who was his elder brother, as his own spiritual master. Of course, they were all initiated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly. But Sanatana Goswami was considered as the Shiksha Guru even by Rupa Goswami. So that is the position of Sanatana Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami is also the Sambandha Acharya. Like we say, Radha Madan Mohan. Right? Madan Mohan means the one who is so attractive that he attracts us to him. Right? And that is the first step where we get attracted towards the Lord. That is Radha Madan Mohan. And the Acharya for Sambandha Acharya is Sanatana Goswami. And then when we are attracted to the Lord, we start with the process of Abhideya. That is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So that process we start only after getting this initial attraction towards the Supreme Lord. And then Rupa Goswami is our Abhideya Acharya. And then finally, the Prayojana Vigraha is, the Abhideya Vigraha is Radha Govinda. Radha Govinda means we serve, right? Govinda, that means one who gives pleasure to the cows and the senses, right? When we serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then automatically we will also feel blissful because the Lord is feeling blissful and we are part and parcel of the Lord. And the Prayojana Vigraha is Radha Gopinath. And our Prayojana Acharya is Raghunatha Dasa Goswami. Right? So in this way, Sanatana Goswami establishes our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He helps us understand Jivera Swarupaya Krishna and Nityadas. So at this point, we can beg at the lotus feet of Sri Sanatana Goswami to kindly help us to always remember that I am the servant of the Lord, and all of my desires, all of my activities, whatever work I may do, Manasa Deho Geho, Jo Kichu more, let me offer it at the lotus feet of Nanda Kishore. Arpilu Tuva Pade Nanda Kishore. This prayer by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, may that be the prayer for us all the time, that we may engage all our resources, all our senses, all of our resources, all of our intelligence, our body itself, for the service of Nanda Kishore and for the service of those devotees of the Lord who are spreading the mission of Krishna consciousness. Right? So on that note, we will end our this most glorious chapter of the summarization of the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. Tomorrow we will continue with Bhagavad Gita. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we will do Bhagavad Gita, and then we will continue with Chaitanya of Lord Chaitanya on next Monday. Right? I request all the devotees, if you have not given your sankalpa or completion of the japa for Ekadashi, please do so right now. Send me a personal message. Secondly, have you joined the festival group? We are going to meditate on Jagannath Ashtakam, as the upcoming major festival is on 7th of July. We have Shri Jagannath Rath Yatra, Shri Jagannath Rath Yatra Mahamahotsava ki Jai. Finally, I request devotees to switch on your cameras. We'll do quick Harinam Sankirtan, and then we will take darshan of all the devotees and purify ourselves. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindadaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahi Mam Ram Raghava Ram Raghava Ram Raghava Rakshama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya, Jai Jagannath Jaya, Jaya Balate Jaya, Jaya Subhadra Jaya, Sudarshana Jaya, Kala Gopal Jaya, Prahlad Narsingha Jaya, Radha Madhav Jaya, Radha Shama Sundar, Jai Radha Rasa Bihari Jaya, Radhe Radhe, Jai Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe Shila, Pranadhanir Pranadhana, He Jaya Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda, Radhe Radhe, Srila Rupa Goswami, Pranadhana He, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Sadhu Swami, Jaya Guru Parampara, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Guru Deva, Jai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्री गुरुदेव की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय हो, वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्री गुरुदेव की जय। गौरंगा नित्यानंदा, हरे कृष्णा। Okay, so we are, as usual, we are about 15-20 minutes late. But Happy Mansi Mataji's hand is up. I think you already read today. So I'm able to see, you can give us your darshan, Mataji, your happy darshan. Yeah. So Sarvagopishni Mataji is there, Anusha Mataji, Snehaprabha Mataji, Sindhu Mataji, Sudha Mataji, Anjana Mataji, Hema Mataji, Hare Krishna, thank you. Vijayalakshmi Priya Mataji, Rajneesh Prabhu, thank you. Vanmali Mataji, Vanmali Prabhu, Hare Krishna, thank you. Okay, Happy Mansi Mataji ki jai, thank you. Rohini Mataji, Karpagoli Mataji. Okay, if we have Nisha Mataji and Leela Nandini Mataji, give us their darshan. We will have a house full today. Nice darshan. But then Sudha Mataji, I cannot see you now. Okay. Okay, for some reason. Okay, Leela Nandini. Okay, now Nisha Mataji. This is high pressure now. You're the only one. If you can give us darshan, then we have a house full. Okay, fine. I know, maybe some reason. Okay, thank you very much, dear devotees. Thank you very much. My sincere gratitude to all of you for staying back. Although we extended our time limits, but for the pleasure of the Lord, we will have to take up these austerities. You have to tolerate me. I'm so sincerely grateful to all of you for tolerating me for all of my anarthas and inefficiencies, and kindly staying with me so that we can complete this study of this beautiful book, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya and Srimad Bhagavad Gita in parallel. And after this, we plan to take up the Krishna book, right? We have the next major festival is Rath Yatra. We are meditating on Jagannath Ashtakam, and then of course Janmashtami, right? So we will start with the Krishna book. Krishna willing, we will start Krishna book after whichever book gets completed earlier. So we seek all of your divine transcendental association that we can continue with the study of Srila Prabhupada's books for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. I'm sure there are no questions. Happy Mansi Mataji gave a darshan, and she also read today. So we are grateful to Mataji. So we meet tomorrow morning 5 a.m. for Hare Krishna Mahamantra chanting, and then we meet at 12:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time as we continue with our discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Okay, Mansi Mataji, you have something to ask. Okay, yes, go ahead.
So Mataji, we had made a drama on this Narad Muni and Mrigari. There was a drama which we did, and since all over the girls, so then I had become Narad Muni in that. So just remembered that. Yes, just remembered that beautiful drama in COVID we had done on Zoom. Haribol.
Correct.
No
Jai,
questions,
wonderful,
Mataji.
wonderful.
Very nice class. Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much.
Thank you. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. So one learning from today's, whenever we are in Dvivida, we are in confusion, we remember Narada Muni. Please guide me so that I can advance in devotional service. I can please the Lord. I can serve in a way that I can please Guru and Gauranga. So like that, Narada Muni will always be ready to help us if we are only sincere in our desire to serve Guru and Gauranga. On that note, thank you very much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.